Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. In today's video, I'm going to be interviewing Lakshman, a past student of mine, and he's got a really neat story about his journey learning to code. I think it'll be really inspiring for most. So we'll go ahead and hand it over to you, Lakshman, and get started listening to your story.
Hi everyone. I'm Lakshman. So I'm currently working as a software engineer. I remember the exact date around October 9th, 2019. I had purchased a web development course, which costed me around 420 rupees, which is a funny number. So in India, the currency is rupees. So it's not that much expensive, but it was a total worth of investment that I had done to gain so much knowledge that I literally I learned so many things from that course particularly. So it was my initial days of my engineering where I wanted to do something good as well as to improve myself. So I thought of trying a web development course because it was good at that time. It had more fame and all. So I started doing that, and then initial days it was like just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That went pretty good. So I used to travel to my college and bus. So it used to take around 30-40 minutes. So in that course, I was introduced to this MDN docs, and I was new to this CSS properties and all. So every day, I used to just go through each and every each CSS property, even without knowing its proper use. So I just keep on. I went through all the properties so that at least I know that okay, this thing exists and all. That happened, and then later I was introduced to JavaScript. That part of section was so much interested that I almost binge watched the whole JavaScript episode. Later, I thought of building some mini game using this simple HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So there, I built my first game called Tic Tac Toe, which is pretty famous. After that, I thought building some other games. Parallelly, I was end of the front end development. So whatever JavaScript I had done, it got completed. And during that time, this pandemic had started actually. I was about to enter to the backend where the course contained this Node.js and Express and all database related stuff. Database we had used the MongoDB in that. So in that part, what happened was when I entered the pandemic, I got to know that like all colleges were all shut down and all. So since it was initial days, so it college people also took some time to get us through this online mode of education. So during the first week, I had nothing to do with the college people. So complete whole 1 week I binge watched the whole backend course, and I completed it. I completed it, and then and in the course we know right that it was we had a tutorial about how to build elp camp, like elp camp site for camping ground and all. So I thought there is no use for me to build the same thing whatever he had taught. So I just watched all the videos, and then I knew what I wanted to do. So I thought of building my own favorite movies thing where I can put my own movies, where put movie name here and then this image URL to fetch it back again. So I built that, and then later I thought, okay, these things are doable. So I wanted to learn something more. So during that time, I think I finished the whole course. And in that part of the segment, I think older course contained this Cloud9 usage. But later, I think Ian was an instructor, so he had done all the shifting from Cloud9 to Gurm IDE. I still remember that. Like it was very fun actually seeing all your videos. I learned a lot. I didn't know about this cloud thing at that time. Now I remember that okay, all those services whichever I had used was completely for free. I thought that it was present in my laptop, and then I just kept on using it. I didn't have that much knowledge at that time, but still the time passed, and then I thought of trying about React because that was the word that people were talking about. I learned React, and then just learning doesn't make any sense. So I thought of building something cooler. So I built my own portfolio using React, and till today it's live. And after learning React, I still feel like okay, I want to learn something else. Wanted to explore more. I thought of entering into this mobile development. So as we know that React, if we learn React, then it's pretty easy to learn React Native and get into this mobile development. So I learned React Native as well. I learned these two also within like almost within 1 month. So there were simple YouTube tutorials where it contained some simple application of we can build using React and React Native. So after learning React Native, okay, now I have the power to build my own applications. I felt like that. And then I built some simple calculator app that took pretty good amount of time. And then I learned a lot about CSS stuff because it's more just like placing the numbers over there and then getting the results and all. And then thought of building a random number generator app in case if I want a random number. So I'd installed both those apps in my phone and thought of building any other kind of app which I can really use it for myself. I was using an application where I used to put some notification which would be present on the home screen every time. I thought I could build something like this since I know this normal like application development. So I built an any notification app that I use till today. If I want to draw any cash from ATM, then I just put it there. And then that notification just stays in the notification bar until unless I go into my application and delete it. This was a fun app that I have built, and till today I use that application. Okay, now I got some fundamental knowledge about the web application and mobile application. I was almost about to complete my second year engineering. Then I thought still there is some more time. So let me explore some other field. So there was this two field where this called blockchain field as well as data science field. I was pretty much interested about maths, so I wanted to know if maths is the thing I'm very much interested. So I thought, okay, let me explore data science. So from then on, my machine learning, data science related journey started. I did few courses which took me almost 3 years to complete. Like each semester, I used to take a course. In India, there is this colleges called IIT, which is like top level colleges. Instructors from there will teach a course and will be uploaded into their website, like the website called NPTEL actually. The course content high level knowledge that like just by watching one time we couldn't understand anything. So I had to literally go through every concept, search it on YouTube or Google or anywhere. I wish ChatGPT had existed at that time so that it would have made easier for me to learn and understand these concepts easily. So I went through that, and then every semester I used to take one course, and then it took me almost 3 years. Parallelly, I did this learning React and React Native and all. Later, at some point of time, I thought, okay, now I have some fundamentals about data science as well as good amount of knowledge about web development. So I thought of combining these two and then build some projects. So I built some projects in that scenario, and that was my journey. So after learning all this stuff, then came my interviews. I was about to end my engineering, so I wanted to get placed in good company. So we had college campus placements. Whatever I had done, I showed everything. Literally, that was just my interview. The interviewer just saw this whole website, and then he was very impressed. And the projects that I had done, he got impressed, and then he hired me, and I'm currently working as a software engineer.
Man, that's amazing. So just to clarify for the viewers, the course that you mentioned originally was the Web Developer Bootcamp on udemy.com. First of all, the fact that when you got introduced to MDN documentation early on and you dove into CSS, even if you didn't understand something, you just worked through it. I think that probably served you pretty well throughout your journey, just because learning to read and navigate documentation is a skill in and of itself. So that's really good that you did that. You mentioned that as you picked up a various technology, you were like, oh, now I can build this thing. And so the fact that you were driven to be able to build different personal projects, oh, I want to be able to create a notification app because that is something that's useful to me. I think that's definitely the best way to learn if you have projects in mind. So going
Yeah,
above and
exactly.
beyond whatever projects were offered by the course, that sounds
Hmm.
really cool. And then your journey now going on 5+ years since the start of taking that course and spanning across both web development and machine learning, data
Data science.
science.
Yeah.
Pretty phenomenal in such a short amount of time. I'm sure it feels like a lifetime, but 5 years is essentially just like going to school. And
Yeah.
at the end of it now, you say you're working at an AI lab.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. We're working as a AI lab.
That's incredible.
Hmm.
So you had mentioned previously a story about working on some of these games that you built using your cell phone. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So initial days, I had purchased my laptop way big start of my engineering course. So what I used to think was that laptop is a precious resource. So I have to use something which I do top end coding or something like that. If I want to write some simple logic, then I had found this app called Solo Learn, where you can install it from Play Store and then quickly sign up, and then it will give you a good interface. to write simple HTML, CSS, JavaScript code all together and see the output instantly. So there are multiple languages that also is provided over there. So I thought that okay, we can write it simply on my mobile phone. Why should I use laptop? Since laptop is a precious resource for me at that time. I didn't know about this. So I started building all these games from my mobile phone only. And also the course that whichever like the course which I went through, right? This web development. The whole course I watched it in my mobile phone only, understood, and then came to laptop and then start doing the project. On the mobile phone, I've built several games called Tic Tac Toe and Flappy Bird, a lot of games, and Minesweeper and all. So I used to build games on my mobile phone, and since it was lockdown and I did not have much to study like with college, so I had a pretty good fun time, and I started watching the Twitch streamer. He had hosted a code review section where you can get your code and then he reviews the code. He's actually having a 15 years of experience in the software industry. So I got to chance twice. So I showed him the code, and then on the second time, I don't know what happened to him. By listening to that, I coded all these games in my mobile phone. He actually sent me a Bluetooth keyboard.
Oh man, that's such a cool story. So going back to thinking, okay, the laptop is a precious resource, so I'm going to use my cell phone.
Hmm.
I think that turned out to be a really good thing because a lot of people, we look at our phone and we just start scrolling social media or something like that, and just
Correct.
like wasting endless hours looking at basically nothing. But for you, anytime you look at your phone, you're thinking, oh, I can work on these skills that I'm learning so I can build out this game with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So I think that probably became a pretty good resource for you, and you can do it anywhere, right? Like a laptop, sure, you can bring it with you, but
Yeah,
it's still like you have to put it in a backpack and worry about misplacing it. But cell phone, it's always in your pocket, and it just at
always.
any time you have some free time, you can just pull it out and start working. So the fact that
Correct.
you're able to find that app and then utilize it in a way to practice these new skills that you're learning through the course, pretty phenomenal. I think it's super inspiring. And then I think for a lot of people, what can happen in early stages of their learning is they have these different blockers, which, oh, I don't know how to set up my coding environment. You mentioned using originally Cloud9 before they got acquired by
Correct.
Amazon, and then later Gorm IDE, a Korean company that
Government.
has a integrated developer environment in the cloud. And both of those tools enabled you to not really have to know much about the environment. You're just able to go in
Environment.
and start writing the code right away. And
Yeah,
so not
exactly.
having those blockers probably really enabled you to focus on building things, which I think is super
Correct.
important and probably
Yeah,
contributed a
exactly.
lot to getting you to where you are today. So that's really amazing.
Yeah, the phone thing, right? So I went through this like the CSS documentation from my mobile phone only, actually.
Yeah, so the Bluetooth keyboard, you said the Twitch streamer, you were able to demonstrate some of the games that you had built on the live stream, and he did a code review, and then after hearing your story, he actually sent you a
Yeah,
Bluetooth keyboard to use with your phone.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
that's pretty amazing. So, yeah, what would be your biggest piece of advice to anyone? What would you say to yourself 5 years ago? Something that could help you further along and maybe avoid any difficulties that came up along your journey.
So as you said, there are like so many blockers and also some distractions on my cell phone. So I used to have an Instagram account, Facebook account, and all. I put myself a limit that I have to watch Facebook only for this amount of time. I even put a blocker that I only watch 45 minutes a day. Like first initially I kept it for 1 hour because we'd be addicted. So I kept it for 1 hour, and then after 1 hour it wouldn't open actually. So up from 1 hour to 45 minutes I reduced it. So I used to watch only 45 minutes for the whole day in Facebook. Later 45 minutes got into 30 minutes, and then from 30 minutes I uninstalled the Facebook completely. So that was one thing that I did, which was very best for me. Until today I don't use Instagram or Facebook, just now started using LinkedIn. So if
Yeah.
there is any distractions that you have to fight for yourself, thinking about what you can do effectively by using the resources.
Yeah, that's incredible. Definitely, basically, from the moment we wake up, we have distractions coming at us from every angle, and then the fact that you
Yeah,
were able to you didn't do it all at once, but slowly over time, you're able
correct.
to go from
Slowly.
an hour to 45 minutes to half an hour
45
to
minutes.
just uninstalling it
Yeah,
and removing those distractions altogether. Now you have freed up all that extra time and
yeah,
mental space and sounds like you
Correct.
were using it to be more productive in your learning. So that's pretty phenomenal. I know a lot of people who are highly successful, their big thing is that they're able to focus on one thing for long
Focus.
periods of time,
Mm,
which
yeah.
in today's day and age, most of us are just like, where's the next 10-second TikTok video or whatever it is. I
Yeah.
think that there's definitely something to be said for honing your ability on just focusing in general. And it sounds like you did that really well. So
Yeah.
congratulations.
Yeah, the initially the same thing used to happen for Instagram as well, but I was able to control it, and then I actually deleted my whole account and then created a new one again later some point of time because
Nice.
for some
Yeah.
reasons, yeah.
At least you were able to admit to yourself, like, wow, this is a problem for me to be able to focus, so I got to get rid of it altogether.
You have to
Yeah, I
figure
know.
it out by yourself and then act on it.
Yeah, a lot of us make excuses like, oh, I have to have Instagram because I do this, or I have to have Facebook because it allows me to do that. But then
Yeah,
you're not spending your time doing whatever those things are. You're like getting distracted because that's how they're
distracted,
designed.
exactly.
It's tricky, but it's good advice. Cool, man. I'm gonna link your portfolio in the description of
Yep,
this
sure.
video so everybody can check it out. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on here and chat to all of us and tell us about your awesome story. I really appreciate it, and look forward to having you on again in the future. Thanks,
Yep,
Lakshman.
sure. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.